Welcome back to the Virgo Channel. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. So it's just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel, I like to go deep within my readings, which means I like to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes along with everything else within your experiences. This allows you to see things from different perception, which is very healing. It's empowering because you can see how you can actually take your power back when you're in a karmic connection by seeing the behaviorisms, the habits, what you do to contribute to the undesirable life experiences that play out within your karmic relationships. All right. And it's not all the time is somebody horrible. Sometimes people have great intentions. However, if they're not coming from the right vibration, they're still not going to get a good manifestation, because a person that's not coming from the right balance, from the right perception, from the right vibration, whether it's high enough. And that's really what it is. If a person is able to view life through the filter of unconditional love, if they're able to see themselves through the filter of unconditional love, what happens is that a lot of times people don't know that they're wounded, and then they think that they're doing their best. However, their behaviorisms and their habits are on a lower vibration. So nevertheless, you can still shape shift that situation if you knew what it was that created the dynamic of the relationship that made it imbalanced, right? So that's why these readings are empowering, teaches you to take your power back. Because after all, you are the creator of your life. You get to predict your future. A lot of people feel like they don't predict their future because they say, well, I don't know, I was just dating this person and it didn't work out. I trusted them, and now all of a sudden I have trust issues. So they wind up staying blocked in a limited perception of who they perceive that they are, which is always out of alignment with the laws of God, the laws of love, the laws of the universe, which are all the same thing, by the way. It's just energy, the same energy that's inside of you. And it's of that unconditional love. It's our energy to each other. It's called empathy and sensitivity. And when you meet a soulmate, that's the energy that you recognize. So let's jump right on in and to see what is the underlying energy of this video. I'm a little bit behind on reading, so I am gonna not do the word of the video for a little bit, only because I really need to catch up. For those of you that watch my channel, you guys know that my husband's in hospice, and it's getting harder because, as time goes by, you get sicker. So the demands on me are more. So I just want to apologize, but I know eventually I'm going to be on a lot more often. I'm going to be doing live streams all the time. I'm just trying to find that balance between giving him enough and also being there for you guys, right? Because that's what it's about. How can we go through the flow of life, right? How can we go through with the flow of life? And that's only through our own unique individuality, which is the passions, what stirs up our own soul, what we love to do, because your mind can't be in two places at one time. So whenever we go through a hard time, and that is if you're connected to a person that's giving you a hard time, making you feel as if there's something wrong with you, well, again, the best way to deal with that person is to take your energy away. A lot of people feel like they can't do that. They're like, I don't understand, I feel like can't do it, I have a hold. So hopefully, if you get anything out of this channel, it will always be to teach you how to regain your balance in very emotional, turbulent situations. That's what inner strength is, right? When we can be able to be flexible, but not give in completely, not snap completely, right? All right, let's see what that word of the video is, everybody. Well, that was almost like a bit too many, but I feel like maybe like again, there's no mistakes. So there's anxiety and worry, there's self-righteousness, there's grief, and there's loneliness. Well, they all kind of go together if you notice. So see, again, never believe in mistakes. Even though it'll be like, no, that's a fucking mistake. And Spirit says there is no mistake. You have to look at things through a different perception. And all this goes together, and we can see what it is. It's like this person it feels really lonely. They're in a place really lonely. And the reason why is because they were self-righteous to you. They again acted like an ass. They didn't want to have simple conversations. They didn't want to answer simple questions. They didn't really want to let you into their life the way that you deserve to be in their life. They didn't want to give you your place. I feel like this person played a lot of games. Like I said, I feel like they had a big ego. So you're in connection with someone that you're not together. And again, they're lonely and they're worried. They have a lot of worry. And I don't think that they just have a lot of worry because of you. I think that they just have a lot of this person just worries. That's their default mechanism. They tend to just always look for the shoe to drop. I feel like they have a long history of trauma. When we grow up in a family where we were abused, we grew up in a family where there was no support. I feel like this person has a lot of, like, again, just trauma. And I say that because they shouldn't be lonely just because one person isn't in their life. They're alone for a reason. They're alone because I believe that they don't really have that many friends. I believe that the friends that they have are more like surface friends, people that they can show that facade to. But it's not even like they want friends. That's the thing. I feel like this person is like, no, I'm okay by myself. I'm content by myself. And I feel like they are, but they're not. And that means like they have trained themselves to be okay by themselves, but they're so detached from being hurt because of the way that they grew up, and then going out into the world and forming the same types of connections and having the same types of karmic themes that play out when we're in a place of you know not loving ourselves, feeling not good about ourselves, feeling shamed from where we come from. We're going to live the life experiences that are in alignment with that. And shame is really what I feel because of the grief. And also, person doesn't just put on the persona that they have, that they're so confident. Self-righteousness is almost like it's a second chakra in balance, because it's like you're overcompensating for the lack that you feel. And the lack that you feel is you don't really know who you are. And so I feel like this person, they intend to invest in all the wrong people. I feel like this is a very smart business person that everything that they invest in, it never works out for them. So I feel like they're in anxiety and worry because of that. But they're also, and also like you're combined in that. I feel like your person is going through it where, you know, people that have been in their life for a long time, people that they have done business with, that, they trusted you, they trusted, but this person was not nice to anyone that was really in their life. They were very almost like I'm feeling like big boss energy. So they had a big head. They feel like they could do whatever they want to whoever they want, whenever they wanted. And the thing is, I feel like they're in a place of worry because everybody's had enough of their bullshit all at once, not just you, but everybody. You're benefiting because I feel like when you dealt with this person, they didn't act like they gave a shit. Again, they acted self-righteous, right? We know that. So they acted like they didn't care. And now what see is that this person is not around. I feel like they avoided you because they didn't want to avoid insecure, like because they didn't want to deal with your criticism because they are really truly insecure. But now I feel like you've been in separation from this person for a while. And so this person is getting worried. It's like, because I think they were overly cocky. So there's a sense of them getting very impatient. And I feel like the time of you feeling impatient has come and gone. It's like long gone because it's like this person slow walked it. They took their time. I feel like, it's funny when you meet people and they're in a highlight of their life. And then all of a sudden, time goes by and you're in separation. I feel like even though you were in separation, this person still kind of kept tabs on you and they've watched your life change. You just have not been in their life, so you haven't seen their life change. If anything, this person acted like they didn't care. Like you said, and I think that they didn't care for a really long time. And I don't know why. All I know is again that they were very inconsistent in and out of your life, never giving you your place. That's what I said, never making you feel comfortable, which is usually what we see a lot of, to be honest with you. And this is important because if it's a theme that keeps coming up, which I feel like this is a common theme that continues to come up, where it's like, okay, I'm connected to somebody that doesn't give me, but what I notice is they give to other people, and it's all the wrong people. Well, it's again sabotaging behaviorism. Sabotaging behaviorism comes from not knowing who you are, coming from the wound. We are not our wounds. We are not shame. We are not bad. There's not any part of us that is bad. We perceive that we're bad through what we do, through how the environment makes us feel. This person grew up in an environment that made them feel bad. So they do everything that's in alignment with bad, but they're not bad. Their actions may be bad. So again, part of this is the inconsistent is afraid to really be in a committed relationship because they didn't grow up with that. What they grew up in was trauma, a lot of trauma, not feeling safe. So when they go back into that type of setting, it tends to trigger them. It tends to make them want to be in and out, which then when people question them, what are you doing? Because anyone that's in a relationship with them is going to give of their time and their energy. And there's a sense that this person likes to reap the benefits of those things, likes to, have a place to sleep and food to eat and love a person that loves them, but they want to be able to come in and out. But the reason why is not really because of other people. I feel like it's because the way that they grew up, there's a lot of trauma. And that trauma was that they grew up with a parent that didn't didn't make them feel safe. They couldn't trust. That was the word that I was really trying to get at, but I couldn't get out, that they just really couldn't trust. And when a child can't trust, it's because emotionally you're not there. And when you are, when that child is emotional, they're getting reprimanded for what they feel, and they're being told to continually be somebody else. They're told, and they're being expected to really be grown up way before their time. And it's part of a survival mechanism for that person to give all their resources away. And it's because it's almost like a habit. You go back into the environment that is most like the environment that you were traumatized in. And what happens is it's like this person does want to be liked, they do want to be loved, but because they don't have enough of who they are, what happens is that you'll say, do you want broccoli? Let's just say for dinner, like is a bad example, I realize, and they just be like, yeah, yeah, sure, that'll be great, even though they don't want to eat that. And then this person is just like a yeah, yeah, or the person will say that they're with will say, oh, my car broke down, let's just say, and this is another bad example, and they'll say, oh, okay, I'll fix it. You want me to pay for it? You want me to fix it? You want me to do it? It's like to the point where they lose themselves. So it's better that they feel like they put on this persona like they don't give a shit, because the other makes them really not focus on self-respect. They're focused more on being accepted, being loved, feeling safe. So this person gets into that relationship, and even though they want that love, they get in their own way, they sabotage themselves. So this is why they're in a place of grief, because you might be like, well, this person did a lot of fucked up shit and they shouldn't be in grief. Well, that's the problem. When a person has sabotaging behavior, they do things. It's because that ego part of self, which is that's part of the survival mind, gets too much in the way. And and that's when this person overcompensates because they're not coming from a place of balance. When you're in your true self, that's through looking through life through the lens of unconditional love. You are balanced, you know how much to give, you know how to act. You're not coming from a reaction. This person tends to react because of wounds that they haven't healed, and then they're a little self-righteous where they don't want to really ask for forgiveness or an apology or seem like they care. And over time, people get fed up with that, because it's like it doesn't matter that you're traumatized. It's like it's not that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that what happened to you. You're still in charge of healing it. And this is where this person is actually in a place of their life being like, my life really isn't working. I feel like they're like, my life is, I'm going to be a rolling stone, meaning like I don't have any ground. It's like every time I think I build some sort of stability, I don't, and they don't, because that trauma is going everywhere with them, and you were part of that. So it's again, but you're like, well, when I was with them, I felt like they were always in search of something else. They were inconsistent with me. Um, Felt like they didn't give a shit. And no, this person would of course act like they don't give a shit, because emotionally they're not emotionally available. This person's in a place of survival. They're not grounded. They're coming from their wound. Are they conscious of that? No. What do you think awakened means? And we don't just awaken. It's usually some fucked up shit that puts us in the dark night of the soul that makes our ass awaken. And that, which is why I feel like this person is almost there. They may not be in the dark night of the soul yet, but that's where they're headed. And it's a cultivation of everything that's going on in this person's life right now. So when you're like, oh, well, when is this person never pays for their karma? Well, I feel like they do. You just happen to meet them in a good part of their life. Because what happens is that this person continues to go out, meet somebody, connect with people. But if you're not able to connect on a deep emotional level, and then you need to be in and out and you have problems communicating, well, people feel used. And then when it's brought to your attention, you're gonna yell at the person and act like it's the other person's fault. Well, of course, they're gonna be like, I don't need to deal with your self-righteous ass. And so, of course, this person gave you a lot of anxiety. I feel like you're like, I didn't feel emotionally safe. Like, I didn't feel like this person even liked me, to be honest with you, the way that they acted. Um, yeah, because a person that has that type of trauma, they are detached, they're disassociated. It's almost like they're watching someone else be in a relationship. They will never take the reins. They will never, they're almost gonna like sit back and let somebody else do all the work because they don't trust themselves. However, they're gonna give the persona like, I'm so cocky, so because they feel inadequate. But no one walks around saying, I feel inadequate because I like you. No, they're gonna show the best side of themselves, only it's not really who they are. It's like a mask. And that's why every time a person gets close to them, like you said, it like it creates a lot of inner turmoil because they have to heal. Well, those two again, so and this person's so afraid of attachments, like creating attachments where it's like again, like losing themselves in someone else. Again, like either they're all in like that or they're not in at all. Where it's about balance. It's not like you want to like live with the person and have them eat, breathe, shit, and do everything that you do. You want them to like be their own person. This person doesn't know how to do that. They don't know how to create balance because of, again, their childhood wounds. They get back into the situation, the relationship, and then they feel responsible to be the savior. When meanwhile, they abandon themselves and they're the ones that really need the savior. So it's a real like thing where this person needs, again, knows that they need to grow. When you felt like at this point, you were like, we weren't growing. It was like we were like stuck. I didn't see any growth. I didn't see like it, we were never going to grow. And that's really what it was. You were like, I don't, but they know that they need to grow. And I feel like you are somehow the catalyst to that because they feel bad. And I know that they feel bad because it's all over this reading that they feel bad. You're in the mix of that. So we're gonna put you on pause for a second because of course the refrigerator guy is here and I'm back in a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So this person didn't want to grow. So we're going to take a peek and see what their plan is right now. We're going to go a little bit deeper before looking at why you attracted this person into your life. Let's see. I want to let my guard down with you, but fear makes me lash out in self-defense. And again, that's what I was saying before. This person, everything that they hear is through that lens of their trauma, right? So you can't really even have a conversation with this person. They act too self-righteous. They get triggered too much. Our energy is stagnant and it's triggering sometimes. So what this person does is like literally like starts a fight with you to like create like the to like get the energy moving again, right? That like it's again, if you're not talking to them and look, thumbs down, like if this person is not coming to you and they're not giving you anything, and then what happens is you treat them with the same energy, hoping that they would actually like catch on. And the thing is, it's not like they don't know what they're doing. It's that they don't know how to be in a regular relationship. They only know how to be in a trauma bond relationship. They only know how to be in a toxic relationship. So that what they'll do is they create, like, start a fight where everything's, of course, your fault. They're not going to admit to anything. So you never get anywhere in the connection. And that's why you felt like the connection, you weren't growing. You're like, we're not growing. We're just staying in the same karmic cycle. Even though I can feel like you have feelings for me, it doesn't matter. I've been so grounded all my life, it's hard for me to trust the spiritual element of this connection, yet I can't deny that it exists. So again, they do feel that spiritual connection with you. It's not like they don't, but survival. This person grew up in an environment where they had to be really grounded. That's how they survived. So I don't believe that this person believes in love. There's a sense that they don't believe that it can happen. And that, again, if you grew up in an environment where your mother and father were abusive, or not, one was not available and one was abusive, which then you would perceive that the one that was unavailable still didn't care about you enough to get you out of that toxic connection, even if that parent chose to stay in that toxic connection. Now that child has to be the adult again, and all their resources and all their time and everything that is really the children, when a child's supposed to be developing their brain, finding out who they are. This is when this is going on. So, of course, nothing would be able to make this person change their perception, except for something that's like spiritual, because you can't logic it. It's like, and that's the thing, this person wants to put you in a category. They want to compartmentalize you, because that's what people that have trauma do. They compartmentalize. It's that they wear a bunch of different masks in order to do it. They're not whole, and it's because of the wounds. So it's like they can't do that with you, because with spiritual energy, there is no there's no, with spiritual energy, there's no time and space. It's just there, it just is, there's no rules, is what I'm trying to get at. And this person wants to be able to do that, and they can't do that. So this really does make them not feel safe, because it's like, I have a lot of feelings for you, but I can lose myself in you really easy. And that this person doesn't want to come from that. They're afraid of that. So they are doing everything in their power to, make sure that they don't lose control. That's that second chakra again, needing to control instead of being able to go with the flow of life, being balanced and emotionally being intelligent to be able to express yourself and ask for what you need. This person tends to, again, start fights to try and get what they need. They try and manipulate in order to get what they need, but not because that there's another person, but because of their own inadequacy, because of their wounds. They're still seeing everything and viewing life through the distortion of their wounds. And it doesn't matter though. Again, we're still in charge, even though those wounds happen in childhood. We incarnated together to clear specific patterns from our ancestral bloodline. Well, again, obviously, this person definitely needs to. We know this. But you're a mirror of what comes into your life. So you might say, well, I wasn't abused to that point. Maybe my parents just weren't emotionally there for me. It doesn't matter. We don't have little imbalances, and a lot of imbalances. What it is it's like either you are or you're not in the spiritual realm. Either you're coming from a place of love or you're coming from a place of fear. And so like goes to like. So if you, again, didn't feel accepted, still don't know who you are, there's shadows that you have, and they don't need to be the same shadows. They're usually not going to be. You usually connect to people that have strengths that you don't have. They perceive life through a different view. That's what's so triggering a lot of times, because then if we're not healed, we're viewing how they view everything as if it's an attack, or if, again, it's something having to do with us. And then we begin to live from that level of consciousness because of it. That's how people bring their baggage into new relationships. And this person has done nothing but, you know, go through relationship, pick up more suitcases along the way. They have so much baggage that it fits in like 100 U-Haul trucks, not even one U-Haul truck, because they haven't looked at it. And so it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. You know, everybody wants love. You know, we're all made up of love. So we, of course, want love. The soul recognition is that it's like, I recognize you, you feel like home, you feel like love. But if the person doesn't love themselves, well, and which again, they were not conditioned to like themselves, because and their life experiences from how they were conditioned in childhood have made this person not like who they are. So they can't possibly like show you how to love you. And that's the problem. And sometimes, like, it's these painful, like, connections where you're like, man, like, if this person actually wanted to, but they just can't get it together. It's like a person that has addictions, where it's like, I see the potential, man. Like, just don't pick up the drink, just don't do the drugs. But it's like the person needs to see it themselves. And sometimes people come into our life to show us that. And I feel like this person's headed through a dark night of the soul. They're not there yet. As you surrender your 3D expectations, I surrender our 5D connection. So this person, as you pull away, and I feel like because you're like, listen, it's like we can have the best connection in the world, but you just can't. You just can't do it for whatever reason, that your issues, that you take your power back. It's almost like this person actually feels more comfortable, believe it or not. And the reason why is because not that it's more comfortable in like, oh, I'm so happy you're pulling your energy away, but it's like the expectation. This person, if you care about them and love them so much that you may like have them on a pedestal, have these expectations of them where they feel inadequate. So it's almost better in their mind that you have the fantasy of them being that person instead of letting you down. Because if they show that they're not perfect, will you abandon them? Remember, this person grew up with parents that were not there. One parent watched abuse. They might have said that they didn't, but they looked the other way. They didn't know how to handle it. Whatever the issue was, this person perceives that they were abandoned. So it's like, if I'm not perfect, you'll leave. But if you don't have such an expectation, whatever I give, you'll be happy with. And this is again a sabotaging behaviorism. It's again how a person gets in their own way. It's not going to make sense. It's like, oh, that doesn't make sense. And if the person was to sit down and you would say, explain this to this person, they would probably be embarrassed, because they would say, oh, and so you might say, how could someone be so stupid? And then God would say, well, how'd you do on your math test? And you say, excuse me? What the hell does that have to do with anything? How do I do on my math test? And Spirit says, well, that person that's an idiot that way is really smart in math. So how'd you do on your math test? Oh, I failed it. Well, Spirit says, well, I'm all knowing. You're down here to learn that you're all not, you again have that capacity. However, you were blocked. And this person made you feel how? Because this isn't about love, this is about surrender. And the only time that we are put in a place of surrender is when the universe, God, is saying, well, stop trying to control. You have to go with the flow of the universe. The universe is a flow, and it doesn't mean that everything is going to be rosy all the time. How do we do that? Well, we get strong within ourselves. We heal the shadow. How do I know what shadows that I have? Well, look at me. I'm going to bring this person into your life. they're gonna trigger everything, they're gonna awaken everything. It's gonna really create a lot of turbulence within your life. It's like, yeah, this person makes me feel inadequate, this person makes me feel. Spirit says, we're gonna actually take a look at how it makes you feel, because we already know what it made that person feel. And we also saw all the sabotaging behaviorisms that went along with those core beliefs that they have. Because it's like, not that they don't have feelings. You're like, okay, they don't have feelings. They're not dating somebody else. They're not talking to someone else. If they're talking to other people, there's not an emotion. There's not an emotional connection. It's like, I feel comfortable to talk to you because I don't have an expectation. I don't need you to love me, like me. I don't care. So it's like, I'm not going to get overstimulated. The thing is, it's like the moment this person gets into a situation where they're like, I want this, I love this, there's a core belief that they don't believe that they're lovable, again, because of the environment that they grew up in. So this is where all the sabotaging behaviorisms come from. So then you're like, okay, so why did I attract this person into my life? Am I supposed to be miserable for the rest of my life? Being with someone that emotionally can't give me what I deserve and what I need. And Spirit says, oh, you feel all that pain inside, well, you shouldn't feel it. And it's like, well, this person, I have feelings towards them, and that's the way that they made me feel. And Spirit says, well, it's, again, they shouldn't be able to make you feel that much. Doesn't mean that you wouldn't have a tinge or there wouldn't be an awareness, but to get lost and obsessive about it is that means that there's a wound. Like, it's okay, like if you were like, well, that like took me off guard, I'm a little upset. And we know this because when a person does really well in their life, they're like on top of the moon. They've created beautiful life experiences, a beautiful life for themselves. Do you think that they care about what somebody else does, what somebody else, like if they hurt them, they'd be like, it hurt, but in the scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. It becomes your entire life where you feel like it's a whole if life isn't going that well, if you had an expectation. And so what you notice is when this person, like says, when you surrender your 3D, then I can like surrender to our 5D. But on a spiritual level, you expect me to be this higher level of consciousness, but I'm at a low vibration because I don't feel good about myself. Now, if they say I'm on a low vibration, they don't know those fucking words. But their way is, I can see that you would expect me to hold to a certain level and show that within my actions. And I don't know if I can do that. Not because of you, but you would always take it like it's you, instead of that relationships are something that happen over time. This person is almost like expecting to go into the relationship and like mold to a certain way. Like, this is your expectation, this is what you want. Okay, I'm gonna come in here and do it. Like, no. It's like it's like we're gonna skip over the entire dating process and I'm just gonna move right on in. And it's like, and then I'm not going to be able to hold to your standards because, I don't know what this is going to look like. It's giving me a lot of anxiety where this person, again, it's like, this is what Spirit is saying. So how'd you do on your math test? And it's like, what the fuck? And Spirit says, well, when you were trying to figure out that math problem, that's how you looked. That your mind doesn't work that way. Your mind works this way, is emotionally intelligent. This person's not emotionally intelligent. So that's why you're gonna bang your head. You're gonna say, what the like you doing this to me? Like, you're making me feel this way? And Spirit says that person tends to try to date people on a lower consciousness, usually people that don't feel, that great about themselves, lower hanging fruit per se. So that they could feel good about themselves, when meanwhile, like, it doesn't work out, it creates more toxic situation when, meanwhile, when you're in a high vibration, it'll trigger this person because, again, making this person feel inadequate about themselves, which is what is happening. However, what it will also be like is that this person will want to raise their vibration the same way that you would want to raise your vibration in the area that you're not that great in, right? You need more emotional support. Well, it's not going to come from this person. So if you're crazy about them, guess what? You're shit out of luck. It's not going to come from this person because they don't know how to give it. However, they would know how to give other things. But could you deal with the triggers? Could you deal with, because that's really what it comes down to. And it's again, so again, we see the card rebellious, and rebellious, I feel like you were made to feel as if you were rebellious. And that's when you don't go along with everyone. You kind of think outside the box. I feel like this person is not someone that thinks outside the box. They're someone that's very survival, very predictive, like someone that's very logical, someone that's very structured, someone that's very organized, and that's not really who you are. And I feel like that was seen as like a free spirit, almost like a rebellious. However, when a child is seen as if they're being rebellious, they're seeing it as if they're being bad. When really, I don't really feel like you were bad. I just feel like you didn't mold to like the standards of what the family wanted. And so you might have been the black sheep of the family. So remember, there's only two energies, love and fear. So you were seen as rebellious. And so if you were seen as bad, and over time, you would not want to go out and explore, right? So it means space. What is space? Well, space is, again, there's every day we have a new canvas per se, and that's it's like a clear space to create, to go out and find ourselves, to find the wonder within ourselves, to find the wonder within the world, to know really who we are instead of taking on these shadows like I'm bad, I'm shame. It's like where no one is those things. Understand you grow up in a family that, God forbid, your ancestors grew up on a plantation. God forbid, you're like you grew up in a place where you maybe you weren't slaves, but you were somebody else that was persecuted, that was taught by your environment, by your culture, by every day that you're not good enough, you're not lovable, you don't deserve. You begin to walk from that level of consciousness. That's why it's really important to be around people that are uplifting, to be around people that are going to give you love, because we can't go back to the same environment that made us sick to get better. And so, again, seeing yourself as bad. Now, remember, life goes to life. This person feels bad also. So you might be like, well, I didn't really feel bad. I just felt like it was different, but different more towards leading in a bad way because it wasn't always accepted. And that's really what it's about. It's about emotionally, how did it feel? See, we don't talk about the emotions in life. But however, I do believe that you were always optimistic, but sometimes to a fault, almost like a little naive as a child, always like wanting to be, always expecting people to change. Almost optimistic here would be not naive because as a child, what do we know? We trust that because we don't have life experiences. So I feel like always expecting that people were going to see you differently, always expecting something was going to be different. But what would happen over time is it just kept happening where, it wasn't like your family stopped looking at you that way. Remember, everybody tends to play a role in the family dynamic. And if the family wasn't balanced, well, there needs to be a black sheep, and you're going to be that person where you're like always looking like, oh, that's everything that I don't please these people. And like they're not really happy to see me. where really it's a privilege to have a family. It's a privilege to have like siblings that like you're supposed to be like friends, best friends, like close. You're supposed to have that bond where that's not how you grew up. It's like there was a poor foundation. So again, as a child, expecting it to be different, wanting that, but not living it. So again, the energy that we hold and the thoughts that we think is what we manifest. So holding on to energy where it's like, I'm disappointed, I'm always optimistic, but it's like it never works out. And it's like I'm seen as different. I'm seen as, again, so you could be someone that was just highly sensitive and felt a lot, and real people like, oh, you're just too sensitive. It's too much for me, where emotions for some people, they just feel really uncomfortable. Not everybody thinks the same. Not everyone is going to react the same. And so I feel like a lot of the way that how you needed people to react, it wasn't that. So it gave you no support. So again, being able to find joy in your life. And I feel like there was a lack of joy because again, when dealing with that home, it's then you have to watch what you go out and you do. You have to hide what you do. So I feel like it's just stagnated who you were. Maybe not again on the level that this person was, but again, there's only two energies. And this person would identify with you. I'm going to pull one more, which is again laughter. We see all like happy cards that should have happened. So again, feeling really to be comfortable and vulnerable. And I feel like it's not that you never had any happy times. However, again, worrying about whether you're going to be accepted, whether you're going to be received well, would impact the type of joy you have. And obviously, joy affects laughter, right? So this is normally a very positive card, which tells me that normally you are very, again, optimistic. That's your nature. So you're a highly sensitive person that is very empathetic and very like positive, just someone that's a bright light. And I feel like you grew up in a family the light wasn't bright. So remember, your bright light can irritate what's not healed. And I feel like that's the way that you felt, and that's the way that this person made you feel. However, what we see is again that it's pushing them to grow. You are part of that healing. And I feel like this person shouldn't have been able to make you feel that way. So, in order to integrate the spiritual lesson, is really to give yourself like all this space. Like, well, it means the time and the energy that you're giving to this person, give it to yourself and create the joy in your own life. Fill your cup all the way up to the brim, make it overflow. This again, attract all different types of people to your life. Be optimistic. And again, when it comes to yourself and what you can create for yourself, and do that by following up with action, grounded action. And that's through joining things, connecting to people that are going to bring you a lot of joy and bring a lot of laughter, because that's all about friendship. That's all about like the emotional fulfillment. Where are you going to get it from? Because this person, it's not that they don't have feelings and that they're not like, we don't know what they're going to do yet. I mean, right now they're just healing, but you want to attract someone that's going to give you what you need, whether you want this person or you don't want this person. Again, I feel like you're part of why they have anxiety. So I feel like eventually they'll make their way back, but it's not to wait for them. It's again because there's shadows within inside of you. Take the time. Take the time. And again, be optimistic. You might meet somebody else. You might not, but you'll really know whether this person is supposed to be in your life. If they're a twin flame, they will rise and do it. And if not, they won't. In this story, we don't know because they're busy healing. Laughter and joy. That's what, but it's about giving yourself that. So I'm gonna just ask, like, will you and this person be together? Like, I'm just gonna say for this story, because I always feel like I should do this. What is this person's intention? What is this person's intention? Because right now I feel like they're like, I'm not good enough. But they're in a place of healing. They're about to go into a dark night of the soul. So what is this person's view? Divine counterpart, like I said, they feel the connection. It's not like they don't. I just feel like they will you give me a second chance? So eventually they'll want a second chance. And that's what I felt. But I was like, we need confirmation because I feel like, well, we just to make the story complete. However, this is a collective reading, and I never like to predict the future. It's like we make our own choices, and I just feel like by the time that this person comes back to you, you might not even be in the same place, like that, because they're going to take a little while to come back to you. And what Spirit is saying is, in this story, it really didn't say. We just added that extra part because they're in a place of healing, and you're supposed to be going out and creating your life, emotionally creating your life. So when this person comes back, you'll be able to tell whether emotionally they're capable, and whether it'll be even worth it for you. Because you might be like, I'm having like a 5-course meal here, and you're coming in with Taco Bell. It's like, I don't want to eat your Taco Bell. Like if you would have given me the Taco Bell maybe last year when I was in a different place, I would have, but you haven't been here, and I'm not going to give you any of my 5-course meal. It's like, because I'm in a different place, I realize that I'm deserving of more because I took the space to give myself the joy and the happiness, and that allowed me to connect on a deep level emotionally. And I can tell that you're not, or you'll be able to see that, hey, this person really has changed. You won't be able to tell until like you fill yourself up, and you won't be able to tell whether anybody's imbalanced. And that's the moral to the story that Spirit's trying to say is like, listen, this person could be like one of many people that act the same way, right? When we attract people, we tend to attract the type people that continue to do like the same, we keep us in the same karmic theme. So in order for you to break the karmic cycle of getting people that are not emotionally giving to you because of their stuff, is to make sure you're giving to yourself. That's the moral to the story, to do that for yourself. That's the healing integration. And then the last part is what Spirit says, listen to life. I am attentive to the world around me. Signs and symbols guide me to success. I listen and discover the way to the eternal. And that's through your passions and things that you love. So listening to life is that you're listening to your intuition, right? The universe is inside you, it's outside you. God speaks to you through signs and symbols and synchronicity, your own intuition. It's if it doesn't feel right, you don't go with it. That when you're living your bliss, you're not living from your head, you're living from your heart and your gut. And that you're, again, living through your passions. Again, the kingdom of heaven's inside of you. If you can imagine it, you can create it. And it just feels right because you're going with the flow of the universe and not trying to control, where I feel like both of you guys were trying to control. Because, hey, there is a lot of feelings, and Spirit says, well, that's when the triggers are going to come out, when there are a lot of feelings. And that's why, again, I don't really feel like this was a story about two people coming together. It was about two people that Spirit used to help you become aware of the things that you needed healing. And thank God, because to be with a person like this, you know that they would have done some negative karma, brought you some negative karma because they're not healed. So thank God that you were balanced enough to not give of this person as much as they wanted. So I'm going to leave that there, Virgo. You let me know how you resonated. I know this one was a long one, but I hope you'll find that it was worth it. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.